Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. Today, I have with me someone who I met pre-COVID through networking and through a client of mine. His name is Tony Lucero. Now, Tony is simply an activator, okay? 38 years in direct sales has made him an expert in all areas in the direct selling industry. He and his wife, Rhonda, became world-renowned after building a team in excess of 50,000 people that helped generated over $300 million globally. Y'all, this is huge. He is a speaker, a trainer, an advisor for many different companies, and he travels the world helping people discover their mojo. I love that so much. And he helps them to live a life of abundance in all areas. Tony, welcome to the show.
Oh, this is so exciting. What a great opportunity. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I was literally kicking myself when, one of your wife's posts came up on my feed. I'm like, why have I not had one of the Luceros on? This is insane. So I reached out, got you on the show as quick as I possibly could, because I've had the opportunity to see you present. And you really are great at helping to inspire people who are in the room, because you just shift the energy, which is fantastic. So you've been in the industry for 38 years. So this is obviously a skill you've learned in this time. So how did you get started? Because this is the six-figure success series. So we want to know, how'd you get started? $0. That's where we all start.
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story, because I was actually in the military. I was just turned 18 years old, went into the Air Force. And in the military, for people that are listening that have done military time, we don't get paid a lot. And so I got introduced to this by a friend who said, hey, we got this thing going down at this hotel. You should come check it out. One of those conversations, this thing, you keep your business options open, one of those conversations. And, I said, sure, why not? He's a buddy of mine. I went down there and they were talking some weird language about, you could build this residual income and get customers and personal growth. And I'm like, wow, this sounds interesting. So, fast forward after a couple of months, I got a check. I think my first check was like $11 and, 40 cents or something. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because in the military, $11 goes a long way. So
yeah, it does.
So I kind of got excited about sharing this opportunity, sharing these products. It was a company called Shackley, which is still around, I believe. And, I got involved with them, and I just saw this power of this thing called residual income, doing something right one time and getting paid over and over and over again. So that was kind of my start, and it kind of led from there into like the whole personal growth side of it, which is the side I'm most excited about, because that's why I'm here today, where I am, is because of that personal growth side of it.
Oh, yeah. My badass crew, that's what my audience has thus dubbed themselves. If they've heard me say it once, they've heard me say it a million times, which is, direct sales network marketing is a personal development program with a commission check as a bonus, right? Yeah. Because what people don't realize, people get into it for think they get into it for the money, but what ends up keeping people around is the growth. I mean, it's amazing. So when you were going through your own journey, where did the personal development really become kind of the impetus for you to keep going?
Yeah, it's actually, I don't know if it's a dark story, but it's a story that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. I grew up in a really awkward childhood. My mom was married 4 times. My stepfather reminded me every day that I was worthless, that I would never amount to anything, that, don't even try, you're going to fail. So all the things that, as a kid growing up, you don't want to hear. And it was interesting once I made the decision to go in the Air Force and then got into this direct sales or MLM or one of those things.
Right.
There's these things called teachers and mentors, right? That love to teach and mentor. And people started taking me under their wing because they realized I had a skill set. I learned this later in life from one of my teachers, to have the best attitude in the room. And I always had a great attitude as a kid growing up. And so people recognized that in me. Maybe I didn't notice it, but people did that are in the space. And these teachers and mentors kind of took me under their wing and taught me about, like, hey, get to the front of the room. Hey, be the one sitting in the front chair. Hey, be the one that is present, during presentations. And I started developing this, and I started, I don't know if it was dopamine or something, but something inside me was feeling like alive and energized. And so that whole feeling, I started shifting from, the money, the $27 a month or $100 a month extra. And I started shifting to this good feeling of, like, I was becoming a better person because of this industry. And that became like all my energy, like, became in, how do I get more of this? How do I study this industry? Who do I need to be mentored by? How many more questions can I ask? I just became this person of questions. And it's crazy, this industry, when you truly have good leaders, good mentors, they want to teach and they want to lead. And they're waiting for somebody like a Tony, to go, hey, pick me. And I was that person. Hey, pick me. And I honored them, and I followed through with what I said I was going to do.
That right there is the key, right? Because one thing I see a lot of in the industry are people who want to learn, but they're not always taking action after what they've learned. So how have you, because I know you've been with a few different companies, and you and your wife have built, as it said in your bio, massive teams, up to 50,000 people in your organization. How have you been able to help people shift from just learning to taking action?
Yeah, I've always been a product of my product, right? So if I'm in a company, and this is key because you can see when people are not a product of the product. If I'm in a company that I love, I'm going to take the products. I'm going to be the best customer, right? And a lot of people don't do that. And they don't have that feeling of life and energy moving through them because, I forgot to take this thing. I forgot. And you can tell because their business is affected by it. So number one, I'm always a product of the product. And I love what this has done for me. And I've become like a master storyteller over my life. And I love sharing stories. And I love sharing stories. So for me, one of the biggest shifts that was key for Rhonda and I when we were building was we took the pressure off of Tony, and Tony has to go hit this rank. Like, what's the next rank? And Tony has to hit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That pressure. We took the pressure off that. And as we started, developing leadership and things like that, developing a team, we started saying, okay, who are we going to focus on? Who are we going to help? Who are we going to assist? So it was never about Tony and Rhonda. It all became about our team. And so when you pour into your team, then your team sees this example, and the other people go, well, how come Cindy, how come Jenny's getting all the attention? And people start to rise up, in that tide of leadership and growth and excitement, and they want to be part of it. Some do, and some don't. Mm-hmm. But we always were leading from the front. We always leading by an example, and we always were looking for the one that said, pick me. And that would do what we asked of them. As long as they continued to stay on the track, I was always engaged in their business, and even when they deviate from the track, I'd still step in and say, hey, are we good? Are we good? Are we good? And if they said, hey, I got life stuff going on. I got, we just had a baby or whatever, then we give them some time. But leading by example is huge, and focusing your energy on the team and to allow others to see what's happening. And people want to be with the cool crowd. They want to be where the fun's at, where it's most noisy, so.
Oh, for sure.
We were really good about it. That's why Team Mojo, we call ourselves Team Mojo. Team Mojo was always the team that was the loudest, the most obnoxious, in a good way.
Right. In a good way. Yeah, absolutely. Because everybody wants to be where the party is, where the fun is, right? They want to see, you can always tell where the energy is in the room with a team like that. Because everyone's just kind of looking in that direction, right? Going,
Yeah. Yeah.
why aren't we like that, right? And little do they know, if they could just bring the energy themselves, they could have it too. You know. So as you've been going through, you've had a lot of different experiences. And so you've had the opportunity to work with people, as you said, all over the world. What are some of the pitfalls that you've seen a number of people go through over the course of almost 4 decades in the industry?
Yeah, it's that whole idea of understanding the process of what this is and what it's not, right? So as I started understanding this is a personal growth opportunity, the more I know, the more I grow, you earn as you learn type thing. So that became kind of like my mantra. And a lot of people, this word no bothers the heck out of them. Like when I'm all excited about my new venture, my new deal, my new thing I'm in, right? And I've been in a lot of them. So, but I'm all excited about it. And that time that we're most excited is that first, few days. And, we might be really excited after a presentation. We go tell our spouse, and all of a sudden they go, oh my gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing that thing for? And so that's the first no, right? That's the one that hurts the most because it's really close to home. In fact, it is home, and then you say, I'm going to do this because, and then you go tell your friend Mary, and then Mary goes, I'm not interested. Timing's not right, whatever, we're on vacation. And you hear a few of those, and those line up, right? And all of a sudden this big thing that we felt, this big light starts to get darker because people that we love, people that we care about, people that respect, we're feeling this friction, this pushback. And that for a lot of people is really a defining moment in why some people have success and some people don't. I love the word no. I always have said this, no makes me grow. And it does because, I heard no my whole life. No, you can't do that. No, you can't have 2 glasses of water. No, get outside. No, you got to do this first. I heard that my whole life. And I understand that it's part of the process. And here's what I can tell you. When you feel comfortable with that no and truly understand and embrace it, and you just make peace with it and you put a smile on your face and go, good, I got it. Jim Rohn said the best. I got a business. He knew his numbers, right? I got a business that 7 out of people tell me no. I want you to be one of the 7. That was the confidence that he had is I want you to be one of the 7 people that tells me no because 3 are going to say yes. And when we understand it is numbers, we understand that, people have off days and whatever, it's like, hey, we just move through it. And on the other side of that no is the beauty, is the magic, because you really develop that quench for, hey, I just want to get my no's today. And I put a smile on my face. And when I do, all of a sudden you get that one yes. And I've seen people build empires, Jenny, with one yes. That one person, that rock star, that nugget, that diamond in the rough that says yes, that helps you go on to become, a multi-millionaire. I've seen it over and over again. And that's just the test from the universe, is to see, hey, are you really in it, Tony? There's one more no you're going to get, and then we're going to unleash the abundance to you. You got to move through it.
Oh, yeah. And I think just about anybody who's listening to the podcast has probably seen that meme on Facebook or Instagram where it's the guy like gold mining, right?
3 feet from gold, 3 feet from gold.
3 feet from gold, right? And there's 2 guys. One of them has given up, is walking away, and there's like a micromillimeter of dirt between him and the gold, right? And the number of people who I've seen give up when they were so close to making that next shift, that next major yes, right, of the business is mind-boggling. But I get it. I think one of the things that I went through that was very helpful for me to hear from my mentor when I was active in the industry was, especially when she was talking about the business opportunity, right? Not just selling to customers or marketing to customers, but she said about 5% of the world, 5% of the world are risk takers.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to go offer the opportunity and find those 5% who are willing to, just like you, take that step into something new, right? That risk. And that was enough for me to go, oh, okay. So then I was like, okay, go find the 5. I can go find the 5%. Yeah. Like, I didn't know any better. She'd been in the industry for over a decade. So I was like, okay, I'll trust her. That's cool. And it really did help, because then I was like, yeah, not everybody's going to be good for this. Not everybody wants this. And that's okay. I don't want everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want everybody. So that for me was a major, I think, shift in helping me understand the team building process for that.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. Huge.
yeah. So we've talked about the pitfalls. What are the things you are really glad you did? But like, what's one thing in particular you're really glad you did on your journey from 0 to your first 6-figure year?
Yeah, there's all these wonderful things that the industry offers, and there's these things called events, right? So events. So whether they're a weekly event, the Monday night call, the regional event, the convention, there's always these events. And so we got really good. Like, our culture was, we're going to promote the next event. We became master promoters. I mean, you guys have to understand, this is what the industry that we're in. We are promoters. We're storytellers, right? Or we can say we're, business people, whatever. At the end of the day, we are in the business of duplication, and we're in the business of storytelling and promoting something. What is that something? And the better that we can, the better we are. So we got good at knowing when was the next event. So, hey, is it 2 weeks from now? Great. Then we harnessed all of our energy, all the team, the frequency into that big event. And we would bring people to that event, whatever it was. If it was a Zoom, if it was a live event, doesn't matter. And from these events, these are the events that would catapult our business. So a lot of people go, well, a year from now, I want to be whatever. I want to be, on stage as of whatever. Fine. When's your next event?
Mm-hmm.
When is the next one coming up? Because you want to promote yourself, make sure you're at that event. But number 2, gives many people to that event as well. And when you do that, let the tool, which is the event, do all the heavy lifting for you. Let it do the belief building, the conveying of the message, the whatever that person needs to see. Let it do all of that for you, right? So we became masters of promoting events. And I don't care if that event was the corporate call on Monday night that your company does. Didn't care. We rallied people around, because when people are engaged and we're all in this frequency of earning and learning, growth happens, right? And that you never know what event is going to do what to what person to ignite them. And it's crazy. And you've seen this, and I've seen this, and people that know what I'm speaking is the truth have seen this. Is I just have to get good about getting people in front of an event, getting them around other like-hearted, like-minded individuals, getting them in that frequency of like, what the heck is going on? Look at this. Oh my God, this is amazing. Get them in that frequency. And then you've got a little period of time that you can run with them on until the next event.
Yeah.
Imagine if your convention is a year from now. You just got out of convention and it's a year from now. Well, you're not going to keep people for a year. I'm just telling you. You might think you can, but you're not, because the attention span of people nowadays is even worse than it was when I was building my other empires, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think that's something that I was lucky to come into, because I was with one company when I started. And for us, it was the same. My mentor regularly hosted events for us to have something to invite people to. And then she started doing it around the Midwest, and then she started doing it on the coasts. And then, so it was all, I took that and went, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. And so I did the same thing. So I started hosting my own events with my team, and then they had the choice. They can go to my event, they could go to her event. But that's where the magic happened. You're absolutely right. When people are together, the energy, the vibe is different. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I love that. I love that. So anybody who's sitting there going, well, why should I go to this, or why should I do this? Take it from somebody who's done this for almost 40 years, right? Tony's been doing this and it works. Get people to events,
You know what's crazy about that too is look at how high energy I am, right? I need these events. Like I need them just like the new person. Like this is the lifeline for me. Like this is where I get my energy, my fuel, the stories that I'm going to hear like on the way to the, to the restroom or something from somebody, the testimonial. Like I need this. So if I need events, oh my gosh, like everybody, Imagine the little person, the stay-at-home mom who's got 4 kids who just wants to get out of the house and do something big and provide for the family. Like, they need this jolt of life in them. So we have to promote events. So I'm not a dictator about it, but goodness gracious, like, it's when you join our culture, like, just know that you're going to show up to events because you need it.
Yeah.
Humanity needs it, you know?
Yeah. And again, I just go back to my own history, right? I remember hearing when you've had when you're having a bad week, you need the meeting, the training, right? You need to be there because you've had a bad week. So you need to be there to pull from the vibe, right?
Yeah.
And when you've had a great week, the meeting needs you.
Yep.
Right? Because that's where that energy kind of comes from to help everybody there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I used to tell people because somebody would, someone from my team would maybe message me and go, "Oh, I'm not feeling like it." I'm like, "Give me your address. I'm coming to pick you up. You don't even have to drive. Like, I'll pick you up and drive you there. Come on. Like, let me come be a lifting force for you, and you don't have to do that thing, right?" Because I was like, "You got to be here then. If you're not feeling it, then you really, really need it."
Yeah. I had 8 people in my hotel room at a Las Vegas event, and we drove and picked people up and we paid for their room. They stayed with us. One guy slept in the bathtub. I mean, you just do what you got to do. You solve for X, you solve for whatever challenge they think they're having.
Yeah.
And you just be the leader and you go and say, "No, we're doing this and we're going to figure it out." And you just do it. And then they forever grateful. And it's those defining moments that they'll never, ever, ever forget, right? So I have people to this day, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, still say, "I remember when you did this for me," or whatever, So it's beautiful. What a great energy there is in this space that you can create building an empire,
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I love that terminology, building an empire, right? Because they're all a part of it, right? They get to build their own empire too. Like, come on, y'all.
Let's go. I'm excited now. I want to go. I want to talk to somebody right now.
I know now, right? After this is over, after we hit stop on recording, give someone a call because you've got the energy, you've got the vibe, right?
I'm going to change somebody's life right now.
Yeah. And I think I remember after I hit #1 in the world for group recruiting, I had some leaders reach out to me and say, "How did you do it? How did you do it?" And I said, "Because I promoted the conference. I said, if you want to go to conference, I will buy your ticket to conference if you promote to this level." And it was just the next level up from where they were. Because I did the math and figured out I personally would make more than their ticket during their journey to promotion.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm willing to take that money and reinvest it in them to get them there. So if they want to go, do the thing to get to the next promotion. And so they all decided they wanted to promote because they wanted Jennie to buy their ticket. And really, they were buying their own ticket by doing it.
Don't tell anybody that secret.
Right? But that's why we're here, is to share these things, right?
Yeah.
Is to go through and figure out what incentivizes people, because they all wanted to go to the event. It was just, how can we get them there? So, now they were on their own to get there, unless it was a drivable thing. Then I was, once again, hop in the car, throw your bags in the back. You can ride with me. I'm going anyway. So yeah, we literally did road trips together and all kinds of fun things. It was great. So getting people to events, you recognize is something you're really glad you did. Being okay with no is something that pitfalls that you're helping people get over. What is one interesting part of the journey that you were not expecting on the road to 6 figures or 7 figures that, looking back now, you're like, oh, I wish more people knew about this?
Oh, gosh. This took actually like 20 something years to figure this really out, because sometimes when you're in the day-to-day activity, you're just building and you're on calls and it's chaotic and you're going to events, is as we started making money, right? Money was a byproduct of doing that, of what we loved. And we loved our team. We loved our culture. We loved watching people elevate in their lives. So this whole idea that I've said it from stage many times in talks is, I will take the checks from the heart more than the checks from the company. Like it's the checks from the heart that I'm seeking, not the checks from the company. And when we made that shift and realized that it was the hugs and the high fives and the, oh my gosh, my life's been enriched. And we saw, the stay-at-home mom who had 2 jobs, taking care of 2 kids, fire her boss, and come to our house crying and give us a Christmas gift. Like those things right there, like there is no check that you can have. And again, the checks are great. I mean, it's like a lot of people get into industry because they, from the mindset of money.
Mm-hmm.
But as you understand the game and you understand the process, the growth that Tony was having, the love that I had for the industry, I'm one who will always love this industry. Why some people bash it. Oh, you're in one of those things and all that. Like I will always say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just because you had, bad Chinese food one night, did you stop eating Chinese food for the rest of your life? No. You went on one bad date. Did you ever stop dating people? No. So this became the next evolution for us, was this personal growth, culture, building the team, and then all of a sudden these checks of abundance, and I'm not talking just money, but abundance in all areas of my life, money included, were coming in. And when you live a life in abundance like that, man, there's no drug, there's nothing that comes close to it. So checks from the company, amazing. Thank you, company. Wow. Paid on time. Wonderful. I don't know how I got paid. I don't know what the numbers mean, but thank you. But checks from the heart, good night. You do that. If that becomes the frequency that you're in, this helping others as well as you're helping yourself, oh my goodness. You're going to have more success than you can possibly imagine. And it might not be in the form of money. I mean, what if just making an extra $30,000 a year? You know how that would change people's lives? An extra $500 a month, how that would change people's lives. An extra $2,000 a month in your thing, your deal that you're doing. It's life-changing. And people will think, oh, it's the $100,000 a month or it's the 6 figures a month. No, we did $98 million in sales one year. We had no idea until the company told us, because we were so in our team and helping our team win. We had no idea how much money we were making until our CPA and all these accountant people and financial planners said, y'all, we need to talk.
Yeah.
But it wasn't our focus. We shifted out of that energy and into the energy of, okay, who can I serve today? Who can I serve today? How can I grow today? How can I be better today? How can I help Jen be better? How can I be David be better? We shift into that and man, game over. Oh my gosh, we have to buy a house. Oh my gosh, let's go buy a motorhome. Oh my, let's go on a 6-week vacation somewhere.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
but it all started with the people, the team, right?
You got it.
And serving your customers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, seriously, because in case you guys can't sense it through the earbuds where you're listening to Tony right now, his energy is like this every time I talk to him, every time I've met him. You and I have been in each other's presence multiple times over the years. And this is honestly who you are. Like, I'm someone who I grew up in the Air Force. You served in the Air Force. I grew up in the Air Force. So I got to move every 2 to 3 years growing up. And I've become somebody who can read people very quickly out of necessity, because when you're moving from place to place, you learn to read people fairly quickly. And you and Rhonda are the real deal. Really and honestly, getting to be in your presence, you guys are fantabulous people. You live what in my world we call Ohana, right? You live Ohana. Yes, you are Ohana. It's very obvious. So after hearing all of this, if the Badass Crew wants to reach out to you to connect with you, to learn more about Mojo and increasing their Mojo, where would you like them to connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, TonyLucero.com is my website, and on there is just, it's just the best version of me. It's all the things that I do and all the things I'm part of. I don't promote any companies or anything like that. It's just, I'm so honored and grateful to have gone through this amazing journey, this almost 40 years in this space, to be the person I am today. And I'm excited about the person I'm becoming because of it, and any wisdom that I can provide to anybody that is, coming into this industry or into, asking questions about life. I want to be there for them. The final thing too, I'll just leave with this because it's important. When somebody makes a decision to do this, okay, to do one of these things, okay, and somebody else agrees to join that journey with you, they're not buying the product. You are the product. They're buying into you. And it is your responsibility to help facilitate whatever it is that they're needing in their life. And they just might need a community to join. They might not want to make money. They might have a child, they might have a home that is unfit, broken, and they're just looking for people that are in a beautiful space. So they're buying you, not your cream, not your technology. They're buying you. And I don't take that for granted. Like, I honor that at the highest and deepest level. And I do everything that I can to make sure that that person gets whatever it is, at least initially they're seeking. And I'm going to help them develop as a person down the road as far as they want to go. So we have to understand that this is not your next company, and that the people are saying yes to you because they believe in you and you are resonating with them at that moment they're reaching out. Okay. So break it down to the simplicity of what this truly is, and more importantly, what it's not.
Oh, what a great way to leave that. Oh my gosh, I love it. So if you want to reach out to Tony and get more of that energy, we've got the link in the show notes for those of you. If this is your first time listening and you're like, show notes, what's that? How do I get those? Make sure you click on today's episode, as long as you're not driving. Scroll under Tony's picture and you will see the link to TonyLucero.com. So you don't have to worry about how do I spell it, blah, blah, blah. Just click on the link directly from your phone or directly from your computer if you're sitting at your computer or tablet. And you can absolutely connect with him there, see what all he's got to offer. Tony, thank you for such a wonderful, inspiring, informative conversation. I so appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and I love what you're doing. You're letting the cat out of the bag, what this industry truly, truly is. And you're being real. And I love that. You are being a badass. And I love that.
Thank you. Well, that's what I'm going for, right? If you're going to do it, you may as well badass it. I mean, come on.
You got it.
So, all right, Badass Crew, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for investing in yourself, your team, and your family today by being here and listening to what Tony had to share with you. Because if you heard this, it's because the universe decided you needed to hear this message today. And Badass Crew, stay tuned because there is another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.